I thought 56 was a great question, and one that you'd probably want to use Desmos for. And I'm going to show you how I would answer number 56, part A and B. First off, I would put this into Desmos and figure out where my graph crosses the x-axis. But because I don't have access to Desmos right now, I'm just going to use my calculator and use PolySolve. I'm going to plug in, what does it say? You have -2, 12, and -16. And that'll tell me that my zeros are 2 and 4. So my zeros for this, what are the zeros? Would be 2 and 4. Those are my zeros just based on me using PolySolve. Again, I would use Desmos tomorrow on the test, but you can use PolySolve to find your zeros, 2 and 4. The big thing here is B, explain how you determined your answer. One thing that the people on the EOC and what we're looking for is we don't want to see anyone put I used PolySolve and found my answers, or I used Desmos to find my answers. We want to act like we know what's going on, and because you do know what's going on, you just don't know how to essentially write it down. So one way I would write this down would be after looking at my graph, hence when we use Desmos, all we're doing is looking at a graph. I didn't say anything here about Desmos. All I said was after looking at my graph, I saw the graph cross the x-axis at 2 and 4. Again, that's just one answer that you can put. So after looking at the graph, I saw the graph cross or crossed or crosses the x-axis at 2 and 4. Another thing you can put is after looking at the graph, my x-intercepts were at 2 and 4. Another great answer that would give you full credit. Something you don't want to put is, again, I used PolySolve and got my answers. I used Desmos and got my answers. You want to make sure you articulate a little bit on why those are the answers. Again, using things like this, like I looked at my graph, I saw where the x-intercepts were. I saw where the graph crossed the x-axis. Those are all a little more intelligent things to say, things that a lot of people who grade tests are looking for. They're looking for that kind of terminology. So again, look at that, kind of not memorize that, but understand what that means, and maybe try to find it and put it in your own words. So hopefully this helps. I'm going to make one more video here in just a second.